Today, we're going to break down a story of betrayal that is so complete it's almost hard to believe. It comes from a verified online confession, and it's all about a life that looked absolutely perfect from the outside, but was built on a shocking web of lies. Let's just dive right in.
And this is where it all begins. You can just feel the weight behind those words, can't you? This isn't just someone telling a story. It's a person at their breaking point, needing to get the sheer insanity of what happened to them out into the world. You know, before everything falls apart, there's always that period of calm. And to really get how deep this betrayal goes, you have to see what was on the line. You have to see the life that, by all accounts, looked pretty much perfect.
So let's just look at the foundation they had. We're talking a 3-year relationship. They were living together. He was actually saving up for an engagement ring, planning their whole future out. This wasn't some casual thing. This was supposed to be it, the real deal.
And this is where the first crack in that perfect picture starts to show. It's always the small things that get you, isn't it? Just a tiny little disruption to the routine, something that just feels off. For this guy, it all started with his girlfriend's phone. Just imagine that for a second. You're lying in bed, trying to sleep, and every single night, like clockwork, at 2 a.m., her phone just lights up. Now, 2 a.m. isn't exactly prime time for work emails, you know? It's the time for secrets, and that little buzz becomes the seed of doubt that just starts to grow.
And what's her excuse? Oh, the classic. It's just work stuff. It's the kind of line that's meant to shut down the conversation, right? To make him feel like he's the crazy one for even asking. But it just doesn't add up, and that's when the trust really starts to crumble.
So, this is the moment of truth. He's got a choice. He can either believe her flimsy excuse and just live with that awful gnawing feeling in his gut, or he can cross a line and find out the truth for himself. He decided he had to know. He checked her phone.
And, oh man, what he found on that phone wasn't just worse than he imagined. It was a full-blown nightmare. This wasn't just one little secret. It was an entire secret life she was living, right alongside the one he thought they were building together.
8 months. Let that sink in. For 8 straight months, while he was saving for their future, this was all happening right under his nose. That is a staggering amount of time to keep up that level of deception.
But then there's this number, 4, and the simplicity of it is what's so jarring. This wasn't one mistake. It wasn't a slip-up. We're talking about 4 separate, ongoing affairs. The sheer scale of it is just mind-blowing.
But it's not just the number that's so awful. It's who these people were. His best friend, the guy he grew up with, her boss, their literal neighbor, and, in a move that's just next-level cruel, a guy she introduced to him as her gay friend. The betrayal was coming from every single corner of his life.
And if you think it couldn't get worse, it does. Because the betrayal wasn't just physical. The messages he found were full of plans, explicit photos, and maybe the most painful part of all, they were making jokes at his expense. They were laughing at him while they tore his life apart.
Okay, so this all leads to the big moment, right? The confrontation. He has all this horrible proof, and he goes to her. He was probably expecting tears, denials, maybe even an apology. What he got was something else entirely.
Can you even imagine? Those were her first words. Not, "I'm so sorry," not, "It's not what you think." Just that. A cold, almost bored statement. There's zero remorse there, just this chilling arrogance, like she's annoyed it took him this long to catch on.
In her justification for all of this, he was too predictable. She was bored. I mean, she took the very qualities that make a relationship stable and committed, and she twisted them into a weapon to blame him for her own actions. It's a complete lack of empathy. And just when you think you've hit rock bottom, his so-called best friend sends him this text. It wasn't personal. I mean, how is betraying your childhood friend not personal? It's just such a pathetic, gutless attempt to make himself feel better.
So with his world absolutely demolished, how do you even start to pick up the pieces? Well, this part is about his escape, and it leads to a pretty powerful ending.
And you know what? He didn't mess around. He went full scorched earth. And honestly, good for him. He packed up, moved to a different city, blocked every single one of them, and he got himself into therapy. These are like the textbook steps for getting yourself out of a deeply toxic situation.
So 2 months of healing go by. He's starting to build a new life, And then the phone rings. It's an unknown number. He picks it up, and it's her. She found a way to get through. Suddenly the power has completely shifted.
And this is where we see the fallout. Her world, that whole house of cards she built on lies, it had completely collapsed. The boss fired her, the other guys, of course, they abandoned her, her friends were gone. So she calls him, asking if they can work it out. And his response was simple and just perfect.
And that's it. That's the end. Not with a big fight, not with yelling, just a laugh. That one laugh says everything. It says he's free. It says she has absolutely no power over him anymore. He found his closure not by getting revenge, but by having the strength to just hang up the phone.
And by the way, for anyone listening to this thinking there's no way this is real, the original online post was actually verified. The author showed the moderators the proof, the screenshots, the messages, all of it. This isn't just a story. This is what actually happened to someone.
Look, this story is obviously an extreme case, but it leaves us with this huge, universal question. We all have our own lines in the sand, right? So it really makes you wonder, when does a betrayal cross that line and become truly unforgivable? At what point is there just no coming back?